me Kachi. This is a space of love, y'all. Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, good night, wherever you are in the cosmos. I want to thank y'all for showing up. Thanks for supporting the channel. Thanks for co-creating community with me. I appreciate those comments and shares and likes and subscribes and all the interaction that y'all have poured into this channel thus far, as it helps me to expand my reach more people, and ideally help more people. This is going to be a collective message today. It will not resonate with everybody, and I encourage you to connect in with your intuition and only take whatever truly resonates for you. Feel free to switch and reverse roles and opposites, as necessary, as you feel called to. Never try to make something fit. Everything that you discover within a tarot session should always be a confirmation of something that you already knew deep inside of you. And it was just the confirmation that you needed to hear to connect with yourself even further, right? I'm going to have everybody do a brief one breath meditation here, and you can hold it at the top if you'd like. So there'll be a little moment of silence here. Okay. Today my phone is on low battery, but I wanted to get y'all a quick message and just see, how things go. 8:48 on the clock currently. And I pulled some frequency tarot cards from the Teal Swan deck. We got alchemy and productivity, which I found very, very interesting. And we're going to get into that a little bit more and see where else we have to go from here. But I also wanted to show you that I just saw this heritage on the deck as well. So I think before anything else, I wanted to just grab a couple of index cards from this deck and see if we can kind of flesh out the energy today. It was feeling very quiet and slow, and like it's almost like I didn't want to turn on the camera because I didn't want to break the silence. There may be something about a silence for you right now. It may be necessary, it may be strategic, it may be chosen, it may be unchosen, but there's something about a silence here. I'm also getting the quiet, the calm before the storm, right? And not in a bad way, not like a storm that's going to destroy everything, just a storm that's going to be really intense and water all the plants. So we got Scarecrow, King, Naranja, and we got 999 and 888 here. Scarecrow, King, Naranja. Okay, well, I mean, Scarecrow, in The Wizard of Oz, the Scarecrow is the one that needs a brain. That's right, because the Tin Man needs a heart. The Scarecrow needs courage. The Scarecrow needs courage. Okay, so there's something here about courage. There's something here about cowardice. And there's something here about a king energy. So if there is a character involved in your situation right now that is, related to this king energy, I think that you may be dealing with some themes of courage and cowardice right now. Here it says naranja. It might be a reference like to a fruit. It might be a reference to, the family of languages that, Spanish is within. But it also, I'm just kind of getting a little bit of sacral energy off of that. So this may have something to do with your relational life, with your, like romantic, sexual, or Also, perhaps some Taurian themes in there. And we are quite in the middle of all of that right now. 999, 888 are generally numbers of reflection and power, right? So yeah, I'm also getting, you did some alchemy and it was very productive. You did some alchemy and it was very productive. Okay, what kind of alchemy are we talking about here? I'm going to start off, I think, with the villains deck here, the Disney villains deck, that is. Because I used the Rider-Waite the other day, and I want to get a deck and just like put the stickers on it and everything, but currently I don't, and I realized that I put that video out all uncensored. So if you are sensitive to cartoon nudity at all, you will not have to worry about that in this reading, because I'm just gonna avoid that until we can, you know, get a new setup established. First out on the table, we got 5 of Wands, 6 of Swords. Oh, there's a 6, yeah? Okay. And 7, the Chariot. Okay. 5 of Wands is generally a card of kind of conflict. The 6 of Swords is kind of a card of sailing away to smoother waters, to new waters, to a different place. And the Chariot is your vehicle, is the forward movement, is the moving on. That is so interesting here. So there's definitely something about leaving a space, environment, a pattern, a situation where there was a whole lot of conflict going on. Can we please get a little bit of clarification in here? So if we know a little bit about this king character, who are you in this situation? Can we place collective on the table? Okay, so we got the Star. That's funny in this card. It's that mirror, mirror on the wall. Okay. And we got the 8 of Wands, which is just a card of like communication, fast movement. Yeah, coming in fast. Okay, so you're hot and fast. I think this is 4 of Swords, even though, no wait, 9 of Swords. Okay, yeah, that's different. That feels right. That feels more right. So, okay, 9 of Swords generally is gonna be a card of sort of overthinking, mental entrapment, and challenges and stuff. So you may be processing a lot right now, I guess. You know, you got a lot of air and fire, and you are the Star, which is a big ball of hot air, big ball of fire, right? Okay. So this was your situation, and this is the environment that you're in currently. So could I get a little bit of clarification on the future of this collective situation? I feel like we're a little bit nebulous right now, like a little bit not so much into the specifics. And I mean, sometimes that's okay. Sometimes that's the best, in fact. But I would love to see, where's this going? Where is this going for collective today? Could I get 3 cards on the collective's future in this situation where they're currently moving away from conflict after having pursued some powerful, productive alchemization. And then maybe we can see what this alchemization is all about. I feel like these, oh, I asked for 3. And we got 5. It looked like 3, but it's actually 5. Okay, in no particular order, let's see. We have the Emperor. Is that the Jungle Book? You gotta let me know if you know down below. And we got the 7 of Wands, which is kind of a card of like holding your position. The Emperor is also very, established, very grounded, very, and so in combination with the 7 of Wands, I'm getting a very strong sense that you are holding your ground. In what way? What way are you holding your ground? Well, you are committed to a change that you've made, some kind of change, the world, a whole new world, a whole new world. Oh, 10 of Cups. I see where this is going. Okay. And then Queen of Wands. Yep. So we have the Emperor, the 7 of Wands, the world, the 10 of Cups, and the Queen of Wands in your near future, basically saying that you are going to be completely and totally committed to your stability, to your security, to building a space of love for yourself, for your loved ones, for your community, for your future, for whatever you're committed to, for whatever you would like to produce, whatever you want to productively alchemize in the world, you're committed to that. And anybody and anything that's going to get in the way of that world that you are creating, of that emotional fulfillment that you're creating, of that family that you're creating, of that that environment that you're creating where you can become and you can step into a position of leadership that is going to be, both beneficial for the community and is going to be like a natural position, a natural place for you, a natural energy for you. You know what I mean? So let's get some cards from the band books and see if we can get into a little bit more specifics, if we're meant to. Spirit, what? Whoa, that came immediately out. Immediately. This book is gay. This is the Queen of Words. I think that this is the Queen of Wands card in this deck. I'm gonna have to double check, but that's interesting because we have the Queen of Wands right here. She looks a little bit I don't like ornery in this card. Do you see? Can you see her expression there? It's kind of intense. But again, I guess we were just saying with the Emperor card and the Queen of Wands that you are serious, you are committed to something, and sometimes you're going to have to be real intense about it, even in the face of people that, make you queasy or people that don't like you and try to, make problems because of that. Okay, and then we also have 6 of Words, which if this is words being the fire suit, being the wand suit, then this would be victory. Wow, Queen of Words, 6 of Words, and then 5 of Inkwells. Oh, okay. This is The Lovely Bones by Alice Sebold. I never read that book, but I did watch the movie, I think. Oh, and the 6 of Words is Chronicles of Narnia. So there may be some sort of confirmation in there for some of y'all with the authors or with the books or with the themes within the book. But the 5 of Inkwells is, I'm almost positive, the 5 of Cups in this deck. And the 5 of Cups is a card of kind of like crying over spilled milk and looking at these 3 cups. I think in this one it's their pots, that are spilled over. And you have these other 2 cups that are full behind you that you're not looking at, right? And so it's kind of a card of being dejected and disappointed. And I think that this has something to do with whatever it is that you're wanting to create in the world, that you're going to find this victory in when you step into your Queen of Wands energy. Let me double check though. Let's see in the guidebook. Here we have the minor arcana. Oh, wait. That was the wrong box. Okay. Here we have the minor arcana. So the words is the suit of wands. The suit of words, traditionally wands, represents creation, energy, and movement, as well as the element of fire. It carries an extroverted masculine energy and calls you to take action. This sign's court cards characterize the fire signs of the zodiac: Aries, Leo, and Sagittarius. There may or may not be some sort of relevance to Aries, Leo, or Sagittarius placements prominently in your chart. But in any case, let's look at the Six of Words and the Queen of Words in here. So the Lion, the Witch, and the Wardrobe, which was published in 1950. I knew it was around that time, but just like seeing it there is crazy to me. That's such a long time ago. It's like almost 80 years have passed by us in the blink of an eye, and I think a lot of people would agree with that, especially in the Western world. And time is speeding up right now. Uranus and Gemini, let's go. Okay, the Six of Words is a triumphant card of hope and success, just as the Pevensies celebrate a hard-won victory over the White Witch. You should enjoy this period of achievement, a timeless and uplifting worlds traveling adventure. The Lion, the Witch, and the Wardrobe was deemed unsuitable for children due to its inclusion of violence and mysticism. Yeah, you may rub people the wrong way, right? Violence and mysticism. This is, I mean, I don't usually get this, but with the Five of Inkwells, I'm very much getting kind of like a scorpionic energy. It is kind of a challenging card. And she is kind of ignorant right now, like not looking at these two full cups right behind her. But I feel like it's a nod to the potential, and that you are going to be building something that has to do with, I mean, maybe words, because I said words traveling adventure instead of worlds traveling adventure. So maybe it has something to do with writing or reading or speaking or something like that. Even though we don't have air right here, I just picked that up out of the Six of Words here, and so the Five of Inkwells is very much giving me alchemy, transformation, scorpionic energy, taking challenges, taking things that people would define as negative and dangerous and bad, like magic and like uh, what is another word for that? You know, like physical aggression and stuff. But it's not necessarily those things that are bad. It is more the way that you use them, right? It's always the way that you use them. So I'm seeing something about that in your near future, about a business or an endeavor that has something to do with words, that has something to do with you leading people through a process of what I'm also getting here very strongly is struggle, victory, right? Struggle, victory, mentor. Struggle, victory, mentor. Okay, so you may be currently in school for like psychology, therapy kind of thing. You may be studying under a shaman or a healer. You may be, you know, involving with some type of mystery school. You may be, yeah. And it's not necessary that you are, part of a big community and a big institutional setting. to get credentials or recognition or something. It's more about the process, that you're going through a process right now. So that could look a lot of different ways. These are just the more visible ones, you know, to the outside world. Okay, so here we got El Camarón. It's like a prawn. Yeah. I'm getting what is that movie? The Muppets in Space? With the little prawn that dances like a ballerina. Dang, I'm gonna have to look that up later. There may be something in there for somebody, more like a confirmation or yeah, that character. La Corona. That's interesting. We had the king up here, right? La Maceta. That is also very funny because in this weird Five of Cups card, we happen to have these pots. And I mean, the pots have plants in them and dirt that holds water, but it's, you know, not the traditional thing that we would expect. So there's there's something about gardening here, perhaps. There's something about marine life, perhaps. There's just water, the ocean. La Araña as the spider. This could be more of a spirit guide energy for some of y'all. And I mean, definitely you are setting intentions and casting nets and webs that, like, you're not trying to control, you're not trying to force the fly towards you. You're just kind of seeing the patterns around you and making moves in accordance with the future that you see likely to play out, and then, you know, setting things up so that you have this passive, this is almost giving passive income to me. It may or may not be a financial thing for you, but it's like you set something up once and it just keeps working for you to like catch things that you want and need, sort of like those cages, those cages that you put in the water to get crabs or whatever. Like you just set the cages and you go away and then you come back and you find something that you wanted, you needed, that you were looking for, that you were trying to create. That's very interesting. Okay. Well, because of the scarecrow energy up here, it may be a person you're dealing with or something, but I'm getting that even though there was a challenging situation with conflict involved in the past, this isn't really about that. You aren't really being asked to look at, think about, process any of that. That was probably something that happened in the past. I mean, remember, you went into isolation and you went through a process of alchemy, and that was a powerful experience for you. But what came out of that was your understanding that you need to leave this toxic situation. And as soon as you did that, as soon as you looked at yourself in the mirror and saw what was actually going on, immediately these changes started going on. You started to see things clearly, and it was kind of stressful, and it was kind of a lot to acknowledge all of that. But you already understand the situation. It's just the fact that you are currently finishing up this processing and moving on. And there's nothing to do there except for your own internal process. There's nobody else involved here. There will be people involved, you know. This is definitely giving a community leader, a community builder, you know, growing a garden. There is a social energy about the fire, about the wands. There's a social energy here. SJW vibes going on too. Like there's definitely, oh, and even the Chronicles of Narnia, remember all these kids go on these adventures together and they bond and stuff. There's so much community energy here, but this is in the future. And I don't really see that so much in the present, right? So this is all about you. This is all about you. All right, I think that that's it for the bingo deck. And I know that my phone is getting very, very close to dying and I don't have a lot of time left. but I think that the light seers would be really fun to add to this, because it tends to give a lot more detail without where was I going with that? Yeah, remember I was saying that I almost didn't want to turn on the camera and the energy felt like the quiet is so good. Maybe you have had a lot of noise in your ear. Maybe you've had a lot of barking in your ear, and it's incessant, and it's also coming from this animal that you cannot control. It's like not your dog, but it is a dog that is in your vicinity that is just barking, barking, barking in your face. And so as soon as that ends, you recognize the relief and the peace and the beauty. Like, thank goodness it's over. But in the moment that it's happening, you're just kind of in this survival mode, you know? You're just kind of like, there's nothing I can do about it, and I'm so overwhelmed, and I just gotta try and hold on to my sanity. But, you know, no matter what happened, it seems like you did something to make it end, but it ended. The barking is over. The barking is gone. The rooster is not crowing in your ear anymore. And you are moving on to calmer, more vibrant waters. Here with the La Corona and the El Camarón, I'm getting very much, Naranja is very much a color related to the sacral chakra, related to the stuff that runs through our veins, in my opinion. Scarecrow being about courage and cowardice also tells me a lot about the energy of the stuff that runs through our veins, which is funny because the scarecrow doesn't have any veins, right? He's just literally stuffed. He's just a pretend person. And the king is just giving the crown. And so this is water and fire. Water and, you know, this is Kai, and this is Chi. And this is the royalty that you are stepping into. It's like something about your heart. It's something about the heart that you're going to be working with, that you're going to be doing. So even if you do work in more like psychotherapy or more, what do you want to call that? Like right or left brained things, even just to trying to figure out that term took me into a very left brained place, which is pulling me out of the read a little bit. Okay. So yes, this is about submission to your heart in whatever environment you're in, whatever modality you use. This is the center of it, right? When you are a womb man, you are a heart-centered mind. You are bowing your head to your heart. They're connected, but the mind is a servant, and the heart is the king, is the queen. And when you try to create a system of royalty that is not based on that natural authority of heart energy, you get lots of problems. The world, again, we had this card already, right? Big changes, lots of big changes. Ace of Wands, more fire. This is, I'm also seeing, you know, she's got this idea lit up. She's got this download. You got a download. You got a download about a truth. King of Swords, Five of Cups. We already got the Five of Cups that we were just talking about, right? So again, this is something about you speaking your truth or speaking with people about the truth, about their truth, relating to people serving people struggling with this Five of Cups energy. So helping to improve the perspective of the people that are seeking this perspective shift, because everybody has struggles and challenges, and what we do with that is what is going to determine our lives, our success, our fulfillment, our, you know what I mean? So you had a big change when you got this download about bringing about a desire to bring the truth to people who are struggling, to people who are suffering, to people that need assistance in figuring out how to tend their garden, how to be effective stewards, how to be effective stewards of their environment, of their communities, of their lives, of their minds, of their own minds. All right, we're at 31 minutes on the clock. So, and my phone is very close to dying. So I am going to pull from this Gypsy Witch deck, but we may or may not get cut off. Just giving you a heads up. Let me see if I've got any kind of responses I need to get to, because I do not have a freaking moderator. Thank you for your patience. We'll get there one day. Freya, Folly, Michael, Mary, please be here with me now. Please allow me to see. For the collective tuning in here today, I will be adding a title to this live after the fact, because I had, I was feeling that energy of the quiet, of the cutting out of the words, which is interesting because this whole read is about the power of your words, right? But sometimes when you've had a lot of barking in your ear and you've had a lot of distortion, you had a lot of noise, and you want to speak life over people, it's really important to take a moment to clear out if you want to make sure that you're getting to the truth. Because you can't really determine whether the truth that is coming out is coming from the deepest place in yourself if you have a lot of noise, if you have a lot moving around inside of you. And actually, before I turned the camera on today, I sat down to do the read that I had felt called to do, but I felt so much of a necessity to change my clothes, drink a glass of water, sit down and meditate for, longer than I would have, to sit in the silence and the dark and the quiet for a minute. There was all of this stuff that I felt very, not just called, I had to do it to get connected to the energy more fluidly. And so I knew what I wanted, I knew where I was going, but in order to make the signal clearer, I had to work on clearing and cleaning that distortion, right? Is anything going to come out of this deck? I've never had this issue before. Maybe it's the wrong one. Spirit, is there a different deck that you would like for me to switch out here? Switch out for? Oh, right when I said that. Okay. We got the Six of Clubs, I believe. If I'm remembering correctly, I think that the clubs is the Wands suit. But on this card specifically, it says number 43, lightning denotes surprise, disagreeable in accordance to distance. Wow, I'm almost getting a kind of tower energy here. And when it says disagreeable in accordance to distance, um, yeah. Remember how I always said noise? Lightning always comes with thunder, right? There was so much noise. Somebody was throwing lightning bolts and making a lot of thunder and making a lot of noise. And it says disagreeable in accordance to distance. Perhaps somebody or something was striking you with heat and sound and intensity, and I almost get like anger off of the lightning. Somebody was loud and angry and disagreeable because of something to do with distance. Maybe, maybe you were creating some distance that they didn't approve of. Maybe they ended up in a situation that left them distant from something that they wanted to be close to. It's giving me very much the separation conflict in German New Medicine, where you can have some various skin issues develop because of this intense desire to be closer to someone or to be further away from someone or something. And that can, cause this desire for you to build up a wall, a resistance. It can numb your nerves, it can thicken your skin, because you want to be away from, you don't want to feel, you don't want to know, you don't want to be aware of this thing. Or you want it so bad and you want to be closer to it that your skin thins and excuse me, and you want to do everything that you can to get closer and to feel more, and maybe your nerves get less numbed and they get more sensitive. And so there's some extremes coming through here, and it has to do with distance, which is also giving me attachment, right? Because distance is relative. What does that even mean? But like, you're always distant from something. So it's the perspective of what you're attached to that creates this separation conflict. So that you or somebody that you are dealing with may have been struggling with some kind of attachment wounds, issues, some kind of separation conflict. Very interesting. That actually gives me a lot more depth into what is going on here. I think it's funny that when I was getting everything set up on the table, I picked up the Heaven and Hell deck, and just on the bottom, I didn't, have it like this before, I didn't realize, but it says Baal, anger, on the, reverse, and then it says Vahua, new beginnings, upright. But I didn't really know about this demon here. I mean, not specifically the way that it's presented on this card. Baal is about anger, and Vahuya is about new beginnings. And so I'm very much getting that there was somebody in your past that was very stuck in this anger energy. Or maybe it was you. Maybe it was a part of yourself. Maybe it was a pattern that you have been dealing with and that you have alchemized, that you have productively alchemized to such a point that you have turned all that energy and that force and that lightning and that thunder from your anger, and you've done something productive with that anger. Instead of channeling it into this Baal energy, you channeled it into this transmutational fire where the fire doesn't burn other things, it doesn't spit outwards, it burns inwards. You burned yourself. You turned yourself into a phoenix ash situation, and that has brought you into a space of new beginnings. 5% on my phone. I guess that's our time today. I love you so much. I hope you have a beautiful rest of your day. Love, light, peace, and personal responsibility. I will see you next time.